What's good, YouTubers and YouTubettes? This is JB Sports back again. What another one. What a match. What a match. A fantastic U.S. Open final thriller. Rafael Nadal wins in 5 sets over Daniil Medvedev in a thrilling, epic U.S. Open final, man. What a match. What a match. Man, it started out looking like it was going to be another routine win for Rafael Nadal as he won the first 2 sets, 7-5, I think 6-3. And it looked like he was going to cruise and beat him in straight sets, basically in 3 sets, and end it and get that trophy and get one step closer to Roger Federer, and that's that, everybody thought. But, man, it didn't work out like that. Medvedev showed a lot of heart. Came back in the 3rd set, won the 3rd set, won the 4th set, gave him all he could handle in the 5th set as he fought off 2 match points in the 3rd match point. I think he fought off 3 match points. 3 match points he fought off, either 2 or 3. Man, it's a blur to me, man. It's just a fantastic matchup. But he fought off multiple match points. And finally, Rafael Nadal was finally able to get that first serve in. Man, that first serve was hard to get over, especially in that 5th set. He could not get that first serve over to save his life, but he was finally able to get it on championship point and win that 5th set 6-4. Unbelievable game, man. Unbelievable. Medvedev really impressed me, man. He kind of reminds me of Djokovic, man. His game is very similar, man. He's just a little bit taller and a little bit more erratic. His game, he's got to get a little bit more consistent in his game, but he is very, 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 very similar to Djokovic, man, because he runs down everything, man. It's like hitting up against it's like, you go outside and you got a tennis racket and you hit the ball up against the wall, and you just hit up against that wall, it's coming back every time. That's just how I seen with Medvedev, man. He's just like a backstop, man. You hit it to him, he's gonna get it back. No matter what kind of power you hit or what kind of angle, it seems like he runs it down. His game is a very good mover, very good mover. Game reminds me of like I said, Djokovic. Reminds me of Djokovic, man. Unbelievable matchup. It's just that when it got down to it, the hole that Medvedev dug was a little bit too deep for him to overcome, and Rafael Nadal hung on, man, and pulled that out and pulled his 20th major championship out in an epic matchup, man. Probably the best major championship matchup since probably Wimbledon, when Rafael Nadal beat Federer in that 5-set thriller. That he was out there playing in the darkness. That's how I think they had a rain delay that pushed it back when it seemed like Rafael Nadal had it under control, and just like Medvedev did, Federer rallied from 2 sets down and forced a 5th set tiebreaker to win it. A 5th set tiebreaker, it was 2-2 to win the Wimbledon championship, and Rafael Nadal was able to pull that out. It was unbelievable, though, unbelievable. And this match was very similar. This matchup reminded me of, for all you tennis historians, man, it reminded me of McEnroe versus Ivan Lendl in the French Open. Remember, McEnroe jumped out to a 2-0 lead, and it looked like McEnroe was gonna get his French Open championship, and Ivan Lendl came back, won the 3rd set, won the 4th set, and by the time they got around to the 5th set, the momentum was all on Ivan Lendl's side, and he was able to beat McEnroe for the French Open championship. And I bet you ask John McEnroe to this day what's the most disappointing matchup that he's lost, the most disappointing major that he's lost, he'll go back to that one there. That's the one that got away for John McEnroe, and he was the one that was calling this matchup today on ESPN. I bet he might have been even having flashbacks. But unlike him, Rafael Nadal was able to, stop that leak. That leak, it was like a little leak coming. Then it turned into a dam, water dam coming everywhere. But he was able to stop it and come back and win that 5th set 6-4. Dug it out and was able to come back. He had in that 5th set, he had broke him twice. He had 2 service games that he broke of Medvedev. They put him up 5-2, but Medvedev came back like a trooper. Was able to break him once and close the gap to 5-4, and was right there competing with Rafael Nadal on his service game at 5-4. And he's able to pick it up, man. It was just a lot of epic points. I remember when it was they had a 28-shot rally, a 24-shot rally. It was just tennis played at the highest level. Rafael Nadal, like I said, this matchup just didn't go to how I thought it was gonna go. I thought once he got up 2-0, and the way he was playing and the way Medvedev was playing, it looked like Medvedev was didn't have the energy or the fortitude to come back, man. But he showed something today, and I think he's going to be a future. It's just a matter of time before he wins a major, man. The guy's got all the tools. Like I say, he reminds me of a young Djokovic. And his path is similar to Djokovic. As you remember, Djokovic early in his career got into it with the U.S. Open crowd, and he said a couple of words to the crowd and stuff like that. Same thing with Medvedev. He got into it with the U.S. Open crowd. He even did something worse than Djokovic did back in the day. He got into it with a towel boy, snatched the towel out the towel boy hand, shot the bird to the New York Open fans. So it was it's crazy, man. But the guy is got a bright future, and the tennis is in a real good place on the women's side and the men's side. You look at the women's side, you got Andreescu, you got Coco Gauff, you got Coco McNally, you got Naomi Osaka. You got a lot of young champions there. Hopefully Sloane Stephens can get herself together. She's been on a downfall ever since she won her first major championship a couple of years ago when she beat Madison Keys. And speaking of Madison Keys, you got her right there. She's got the game to win a major. Will she ever be able to put it together for six wins to win a major? That remains to be seen. But it's a lot of good things happen in the world of tennis on the men's side and the women's side. As far as the men's side, you got Medvedev. You got a lot of young people. They got this other guy, young guy. What's his name? Agu Batista. I think the guy name is 17 years old. Got a real bright future. Got a nice game. Very good mover. Pretty good serve. Just got to get a little more consistent with his offensive game. Forehand. Got to get that a little bit more consistent. You know, he's got a lot of errors on that forehand, but it's very, very good, very, very powerful. When he's on, he's on. So you just got to get more consistent. That's gonna come with maturity. But you got him. You've got a couple of the youngsters out there, especially on the European coming out of Europe. You got a lot of good young players coming out of there. But them two right there come on top of my head. But both sides got bright future, especially the women's side, though. We'll see how it plays out in the future, but this day belongs to Rafael Nadal, as he was able to outlast Daniil Medvedev in a 5-set thriller. Unbelievable. Good matchup. And we'll see what happens next year when the Australian Open starts off in January. They'll kick off the Grand Slams in 2020. There's going to be a lot of pressure on Djokovic to try to get that major, because he's the one that really fell behind in this. And at first, it was a two gap difference in between 1 and 2 and 2 and 3, as Federer sat there with 20 Grand Slams, and before the day, Nadal had 18 and Djokovic had 16. Now Nadal got 19. One closer to Federer, and Djokovic sit back there at 16. So he'll be looking to win the Australian Open like he did this year, coming up in 2020. Now, this is going to be the elephant in the room that a lot of people really don't want to talk about, but Rafael Nadal is getting very close, and they're having a strong argument that he's the best player of all time in tennis. He's only one behind Roger Federer. As great as Roger Federer is, he doesn't have a claim. He doesn't have it out cemented that he will go down as the greatest tennis player of this era, and let alone the greatest tennis player of all time. You know, it's up to debate. And with the French Open coming around, it's I hate to say it's almost a lock, but it's gonna be hard to beat Nadal at the French Open. He pretty much, let's see how many he's won. 12. He's broken Bjorn Borg record as far as the most French Open championships. And he's 33. I think Federer's 37, finna be 38, and I think Djokovic is either 31 or 32. So it's gonna be very interesting with that French Open. That's where Nadal seemed like he got the advantage over Federer and Djokovic. He's more dominant on that surface than Federer is on his favorite surface, probably Wimbledon, and more dominant than Djokovic. That's on his favorite surfaces, probably Australian Open or Wimbledon too. He's won a bunch of Wimbledon tournaments too, either Wimbledon or Australia. Either one of those you can consider Djokovic's strongest surface. But now either one of those two, Federer or Djokovic, like I said, have dominated those surfaces more than Nadal has dominated the clay at Roland Garros. So that's why he got the advantage. And with a Roger Federer age, if I had to make a prediction, I think Rafael Nadal, if he don't get injured, I think he's going to end up with more majors than Roger Federer. And I think that he's going to have a strong claim to being the best tennis player, well, best men's tennis player of all times. He had that, and that's something that you wouldn't be thinking about a couple of years ago, especially after Roger broke Sampras record. You thought he was gonna be, you thought back then like, oh, Roger gonna go down as the greatest men's tennis player ever. But now it's open to debate. Right now, you still give it up to Roger. He's up 1, but Roger's getting up there. I don't know how many years he had left on the tour, and I don't know how many, even more so. I don't even know how long he's gonna be as dominant as he was. As you see, it seemed like he got injured in the quarterfinals here in the U.S. Open. Has Father Time caught up with him? Is more of those injuries going to start happening a little bit more frequently, or what? You remember a couple of years ago he had problems with injuries, and everybody thought that was the end. But he was able to bounce back, come back strong, and he reinstated himself as the number 1 men's tennis player on tour, and he was ranked number 1, which was probably one of his greatest accomplishments of his career. That features many of great accomplishments. So we'll see how it plays out. But for right now, congrats to Rafael Nadal for winning his 19th Grand Slam championship at the U.S. Open. And he'll move on to the Australian Open next year. He still has some business to tend to this year, as they got the year-end ATP men's tournament. I think they have the top 8 ranked players doing a round-robin tournament. That's probably the last big tournament of the year. And after that, it'll be time to kind of rest your body, recuperate, and get ready for the Australian Open in 2020. And again, I'm gonna give you guys a score that didn't see this matchup. Rafael Nadal won it 7-5, 6-3, 5-7, 4-6, 6-4 in the finals of the U.S. Open. This is JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend. I holla.